I'm Vega, and I'm so excited to share this journey with you. We are diving into the alchemical process of art magic today. It's a really great way to use your creativity to connect with yourself, set intentions, and just invite meaningful change into your life. So what exactly is art magic? It's the intentional act of creating art to focus your energy. It's not just self-expression, it's actually using your intentions in the creative process to manifest change in your life. And it's completely customizable. There's no right or wrong way to do it. So for me, art magic has been a way to reclaim my own personal power and identity. One way I use art magic is by creating portal paintings. So you can think of it as a tool. It's designed to guide and focus energy. So this specific one is the Soul Troop, so it's attracting my community, so it felt appropriate. But yeah, you can use them for, meditation, or you can put them on an altar, or you can charge the intention of the painting into crystals or tools or things like that. Today I'll be walking you through some of my techniques. You can do them exactly as I demonstrate, or you can just let them inspire you in your own practice, because your journey is about you and you're the one who knows how to do it the right way. And remember that it isn't about perfection. We're not trying to make something look a certain way. It's really about the process. It's about feeling the emotions, letting your intentions take whatever shape they need to. That's why I said you can follow what I do, or you can just completely make up your own rules. Generally, I just want to encourage everyone to really make this your own practice. If you are not naturally inclined to paint, you don't have to paint. I do a very similar practice with crochet. You can really apply this concept to literally anything that you create. It's very easy, very accessible for just about any kind of creative process. Try to approach this without judging yourself. I know it can be really hard, especially when we want our art skills to translate a certain way. But just remember, this is about you. This is not about how anybody perceives anything that you're making. Before we begin, let's take a moment to reflect. What does reclaiming your power look like for you? Is it finding your voice? Is it taking a step into your authenticity? Is it, letting go of something that holds you back? Get your mind really clear on what that looks like for you, and hold on to that intention as we move through the following process. And next we'll cleanse our space.
I'm doing a smoke cleanse, but you're welcome to use whatever cleansing practices you are familiar with. I also cleanse my tools and canvas.
Okay, so before we begin, we're going to do a quick grounding exercise to help us connect with our inner power, and it'll only take a minute or two, but it's really important. Do not skip this step. So we're going to take a moment to center yourself, get yourself in a comfortable position, close your eyes, breathe in through your nose, and out through your mouth. And again.
Feel yourself relax into the space around you. Notice the steady rhythm of your breath, grounding you, connecting you to the present. Now begin to turn your awareness inward. Imagine a glowing portal within you. This portal is your creative energy, your inner wisdom, and your limitless potential. It's a doorway to whatever you need in this moment. Perhaps this portal connects you to your inner child, offering a place for them to play, or maybe it leads to your root chakra, grounding and stable. Perhaps it's a portal to your true self, your abundance, or the infinite energy that flows through you. Here's the supplies list for the video. I really like the Deco Art brand and the neon Sharpies if you are looking for recommendations. If not, you can totally use whatever you happen to have on hand at home.
Okay, let's start by picking our colors and symbols. So let's think about what resonates with the intention that you're setting. Strength, maybe go with red or some deep earthy tones. Abundance is usually green or gold. Intuition or clarity is usually white or purple. But again, this can be specific to you, so go with your intuition. Choose 2 or 3 colors and 3 or 4 symbols.
Think about what your intention is and what type of symbols might relate. So heavenly symbols or symbols connected to nature or earth. Animal symbols. Or elements. Traditional spiritual symbols. Or protection symbols.
Pick a number that resonates with you, and we're going to be repeating that throughout our portal painting as well.
Here are the standard meanings for the numbers. But again, if you have an intuitive connection to a specific number, it may have a different meaning for you personally. And that's okay. That is completely okay. It is a personalized, intuitive process. So remember to let your intuition guide you.
I'm going to show you a way to make a quick protection sigil that is personal to you, and you can use it as the base layer underneath your painting. You can put it on the back, on the front, wherever you feel that it needs to go.
Okay, there are several ways to do this, but what we're going to do is write out a statement. I used I am powerful, but you could say I am protected, and then I cross out every other letter. I'm going to rewrite each letter that I did not cross out, and then piece them together in any way that I feel makes sense. So I got the O there, the other E at the other side, just connecting the letters in a type of design. One way to use the sigil is to paint it as your base layer. So I'm copying from the paper here. I chose blue and green for the manifesting power portal. Blue enhances clarity, communication, and supports the clear expression of intentions. Green represents growth, abundance, and healing, helping to manifest prosperity and emotional balance. For the inner peace portal, we chose pink and purple. Pink symbolizes love and emotional healing, fostering self-acceptance for inner peace. Purple represents intuition and higher consciousness, promoting deep connection to the universe. Together, they encourage emotional balance, spiritual alignment, and a sense of tranquility. For the target, you're going to do a set of concentric circles or circle-ish shapes. If you would like to use stencils, you can totally do that as well. The way the geometry of the target works is you need an even number of lines, so if we go straight across the middle, we can make sure that happens. Then we're going to color in every other square. Sometimes I like to use an X to mark off the squares in advance, that way I don't confuse myself. And drawing the spiral, you can start with it closer together and get larger sections as you move out. If you chose the spiral, be sure you have an odd number of lines or your squares will not match up properly. On the inner peace portal, I'm going to use wavy lines to kind of represent the flowing energy that is natural when establishing inner peace. And the spiral is also transformative kind of energy. I either use acrylic markers or Sharpies for this step. One thing about sacred geometry is it is at its core very, very simple. Once you understand the basic principles, you can replicate it and play with the concepts. For the inner peace portal, I chose lotus flowers. I'm just making them by drawing 3 petals, 1 straight up and 2 to the side, and then 2 smaller petals in between those. And I just repeat on each square. If you've ever done a Zentangle, this process is very similar. We're just going to choose one shape or one symbol and repeat it over and over and over again until the space is filled. I realized that I missed a couple of steps here in editing, so I'm going to show you the best I can on the finished piece. For the manifestation of power portal, I put a line on the front of each square, and I took a different color marker and I put a little Zentangle square sort of spiral design. I wanted sharp edges to go with the strength and power theme. I also added lightning bolts in the back with my neon Sharpie, and I outlined them with an acrylic marker to make them stand out from the background. And the last thing I did for this part was add vines to the inner peace portal, reinforcing the symbolism of nature. Now we're going to add the final touches. You can choose to add tiny glowing details, evil eyes of protection, or personal sigils. So for this piece, I'm choosing the evil eyes of protection, lights, I think of them as like an alarm system, and the little glowing dots. To create the lights, I'm going to put a little star as sort of the base that it sits on. I wanted them to be opaque, and my marker was a little big, so I'm using a stencil. Stencils are a really great way to add details, even if you're not really sure how to draw something, or if you can do it in the size that you want. To help enhance the depth, I like to put the larger elements towards the outside and the smaller ones towards the center. I'm adding a glowing light on each star that I created. Using a needle, I drag little bursts out in each direction. You can use dotting tools like these, or a squeeze bottle, or whatever you've got at home. When choosing the placement for your glowing dots, I always recommend choosing to place them on a color that does not glow. That's going to increase your contrast. And this is a good point to remember. This is a meditative process, so it's okay that it's slow. But for demonstration's sake, I'm going to speed it up a bit. This is how I make the glowing evil eyes of protection. You will need acrylic glow paint, palette paper, or some kind of surface that the paint will peel off of. Drip the paint onto the surface and visualize each drop as a guardian. Drop in the color for the iris. You can choose corresponding colors to the ones we selected earlier, or you can choose new colors that correspond to specific types of protection. Then we are going to say an affirmation of protection as we add the pupils, grounding in the energy. And we'll let them dry. The larger ones can take a full 24 hours. We're going to select the eyes that go with this portal, and we're going to place them, again feeling intuitively where they should go. I just apply them using regular white glue. I love working in layers because it gives you a lot of flexibility and really lets you get a sense of the energy of the placements you're choosing before fully committing to that placement. Which can also be a metaphor in life as well. Sometimes we just have to try things out before we're sure if it's meant for us. Sometimes you think you belong somewhere, and then when you can see yourself there, you realize, actually, I go over here. And now I'm adding starbursts and little stars to the background. Using the same dragging technique from earlier, you can also make comets this way. The stars here represent guidance and knowing your direction in relation to manifesting strength. And that is our manifesting strength portal. I will talk about activation in just a minute. But first, let's finish our inner peace portal. I chose flower centers, glowing dots, mushrooms, and stars. I am applying glowing dots to the centers of the flowers and to the vines. To do this, I put one large dot in the center and 6 dots surrounding it, representing the divine feminine energy. I switched to a smaller tool to make the ones towards the center very, very tiny. Again, they do not have to be perfect. It's symbolic, and keeping that focus, especially during the slower steps, will increase the power of the piece. This is usually the point where any shadow work or blockages that I have related to what I'm trying to manifest with the portal come up for me. Next, I am looking for my mushrooms to choose which ones I would like to add to this piece. These are cut out of cardstock in different colors because it is really vibrant under a black light, and then I just use squeeze bottles to draw the details. I think I want some without the outlines though. And here I am struggling with glue and remembering that this is a lesson about manifesting inner peace into my life. Remembering the focus of your portal is essential to getting access to the energy that you're looking for. I thought about having them floating through the portal, but I felt that being grounded would be more appropriate. Thinking about my sacred numerology, I wanted to have a specific number of mushrooms, so I cut out a few more, and I wanted some larger ones to enhance the depth of the portal. When I do pour painting, the paper underneath of where I'm pouring comes out marbled like this, and sometimes I use it for little cutout pieces. I use mushrooms as symbolism a lot. That's because for me they represent interconnectedness. If you know about mycelium, how they are all kind of connected in a very magical way. They are also very resilient, and they grow in dark and sometimes pretty nasty places. So now I'm making the glowing protection eyes. I didn't really have a lot that were this tiny, and they can be hard to place with the glue. So I chose to just squeeze the same glow-in-the-dark paint out of the squeeze bottle and create an eye directly on the mushrooms. It's the same process I demonstrated earlier, just smaller. Adding the irises and a grounding affirmation with the pupils.
Now your portal painting is complete, it's time to activate it. There are several ways you can do this depending on your practices. 3 different ways that I like to do this: writing a spell or an incantation, putting it on the back or the sides of the canvas, somewhere where you can access it. Another way is to activate it with your energy by holding your hand over the piece.
You may choose to visualize the energy flow through your hand, or use a combination of hand gestures to unlock and lock the portal, or combine a hand gesture with the use of an activation phrase.
Or you can create a crystal grid and have specific, almost like a key code or a combination of when this crystal is here, when this crystal is here, that activates and opens the energy to the portal.
For this method, make sure you seal your painting with Mod Podge before using.
It is very important to remember to close said portal. So that's why I suggest using an activation so that you have control over when the energy is active and when it is.
And here's how they look.
That's how you make your own portal painting. It's more than just a reflection of your energy. It is a way for you to access your own healing, your own power. Please tag me if you choose to share anything that you create. I'd love to see. Keep creating magic and keep